YouTube, LJ Draco here. I'm here with Alice.
Hi.
And we recently had Alice's friend stay with us. Her name is Emma. She is a laugh. She convinced us to go to the cinema to watch Toy Story 4. We were not really looking forward to watching it at all, were we?
No.
But she convinced us, and we went. So this is just a mini review from the both of us. Now I know you guys are probably saying, "Oh, Alice isn't usually in any of your videos." It's taken us about an hour to get to this point. We've been laughing our heads off from us. I almost said, "Hello YouTube, Alice is here." Right? That would have been great. Anywho, let's talk about the film. Okay? Now, no spoilers. This is to her specifically. Because if you check out her movie channel, when she does reviews, she goes all out. They're all spoiler reviews. She doesn't even give you a warning. Okay? She's very descriptive. She likes telling you the story. And you're a good storyteller. Just watch her videos when you don't want to watch the film, basically. It's not an insult. I'm still being positive. Right, so this film surprised us quite a bit. We thought it was going to be really bad. I mean, you see the trailers, you see this little plastic fork with googly eyes, and you instantly think, ugh. I mean, I don't know about you. I'm not a fan of Toy Story 3 whatsoever. I mean, the ending made me a little bit emotional because it was a bit too sadistic. But other than that, I wasn't too keen on the whole story. I thought it was pointless after Toy Story 2. What about you? Did you enjoy Toy Story 3? Well, I didn't like Toy Story 3. She probably, if she don't remember, then she probably didn't. I felt like that story dragged out a bit too much, and it was just very unneeded, you know. But I actually surprisingly really enjoyed this film. So this film was just very surprising. It had a lot of good characters, some return of old characters, and some introductions to some new characters. We're not going to give any actual spoilers away. We're just going to talk little bits and pieces about what we enjoyed without spoiling anything. And then we'll get to the embarrassing bit afterwards. And then practically after this mini review of it, whether it's going to be me or both of us, I'm going to be ranking my favourite Toy Story films in the way of how I prefer them, which ones I think are the best or worst. So, do you want to start this review?
You can start the review.
Thank you. She's a lady. Right, so, starting off the review, well, I guess we're starting off, as you see in the trailer, the toys were left to Bonnie by Andy at the end of the third film. And Bonnie creates a new toy, as you see in the trailers, and as you see by what that new toy is. It's called Forky, which is a spork with googly eyes and a ice cream stick for feet, and one of those weird, like, fluffy, bendy rods as hands. And as you see by the trailer, like, Woody is making it his life's mission to kind of guide this, you know, because he loves Bonnie, and he doesn't want anything to happen to this thing that Bonnie created because it's a part of her. So the question is, a part of this review is, I quite like Forky as a character. I think he's quite important to the story. I think he's actually quite a good addition to the story. What do you think about Forky?
I liked Forky, and I liked the idea that it was kind of showing, like, proper emotion. Like, basically, Woody still misses Andy, but he's now trying to look after something new to help Andy's younger sister. I really like the idea of the kind of the emotion behind it, to make you realise kind of that in some random way toys still have feelings, although it sounds a bit weird, but it makes you kind of think. And I really enjoyed Forky. He was a really funny character, and it was well how it was put together.
literally the best accurate response to that was exactly what she just said. It does give you exactly what the original two Toy Stories gave, which was that nice range of emotion, especially from Woody, as he was and will always kind of be the main character to all Toy Story movies. You know, he was Andy's like best and favorite toy. You know, so he has to be the lead in everything. But it's not so much that he's too over leading that he distracts from any other character. And it was nice that, as you said, like the emotion that was used behind Forky's creation, and the fact that he's not being undershadowed or overshadowed by Woody. He's kind of on par with relevance. Like him and Woody are now the same. They both belong to Bonnie, and it's Woody's job to make sure they both get back safely to her, so she's not upset. There was other characters introduced to this film, like Duke Kaboom, played by Keanu Reeves, which is, I think, got to be my third favourite character in the Toy Story movies. He was just so funny. I don't know if you like Duke Kaboom, because you didn't mention much of him.
Yeah, I did quite like sort of his character and stuff, and again it relates to emotion and stuff, so
It
I
does.
enjoy things like that.
It really does. The thing that I do like about Toy Story movies is all toys have a history. Like, there's no toy that doesn't, and it's kind of nice that Disney Pixar are really good. They focus on each toy. Well, it's going to sound really cheesy, but they focus on each toy story, which is true. It's technically truth. You know, like every toy has a background. I mean, even in the original film, like I think his name's Porky or Piggy the Bank, Mr. Ham. He mentions like he was like the factory that he was made in. So does Mr. Potato Head. So it's kind of funny. Other characters was the two fluffy kind of plush teddies from the carnival, played by Key and Peele. I don't know a lot of their work, but I know they're pretty funny guys, and they also had us in stitches for every scene that they were practically in. Made us laugh. Without giving too much away, there was one scene in particular where they have to use some intelligence.
Oh yeah.
And we were practically pissing ourselves laughing. It's kind of funny because their thoughts and plans for the intelligence of that scene kind of remind me of the stuff that you would think of when you're trying to think of stuff in a rush. It's like, I can't explain too much, but if you guys have seen it, you'll know exactly what we're talking about. But if you haven't, please check it out, whether it's in cinemas or whether it comes out. And just let us know what you think of their characters as well. One thing we'll both agree on specifically about Toy Story 4, as you've seen by the trailers, is it's got some really scary scenes in this film. And I thought Toy Story 1 was terrifying with Sid and the disfigured toys that he kind of Frankenstein together. But yeah, there's certain scenes in this film that will give you nightmares, I think. Not kid-friendly, I would say, to some degree. Another thing that I think we'll agree on is there is a really good twist that I don't think we expected in the film. I'm not going to say with who or with what, but there is a really good twist.
Yeah.
What do you think of the twist?
I think it was quite good.
Quite good?
Yeah, I'm thinking if it's the same sort of twist that I'm thinking you're on about, then yeah, it was good.
Well, this bit will be cut.
Yeah.
Okay, this bit's going to be cut because we're going to talk about it and then you'll hear what she has to say. Okay, so, we're back. Right, so there's two twists and she got a bit confused. Not the main twist. We're talking about one of the twists that was actually pretty good to the story. So, without giving anything away, what did you think of that twist?
I think it was quite good, and it's sort of, you can understand the reason as to why that happened, sort of thing.
I think it adds a lot to the story. I said, for me specifically, I think that twist actually made the story a lot better than I thought it was going to be. Because I thought it was just going to be a completely like repeat with different characters of Toy Story 3, where it just was all it felt rushed, Toy Story 3, but this actually had time to focus on new and old characters in so much and little ways that you could feel satisfied with what you got. And that twist just was one of those amazing things that happened. Another thing that we saw in the trailer, now this is the only thing that we also agree on, but we agree about it in a negative way. And that's the return of Bo Peep. I don't want to talk too much about her character. Only reason why we don't like... Well, we like Bo Peep as a character. We don't like her portrayal in this. Because she doesn't actually look... Oh, there was a whistle then when I did that. We don't actually like Bo Peep's design, if I should say. There was a funny scene involving her, which kind of terrified Alice. But we did laugh afterwards. But her design doesn't seem right. She doesn't look like the original Bo Peep. Like, all the other characters look exactly the same. She just looked too different. And as much as I didn't and don't like it, when you see her in the film, and you kind of get a bit just of her story, it also did kind of make sense why she would look different. And to that, I can kind of let that slide. I'm not... Like Chris Stuckman said in his video, people will always try and find one little flaw. I don't really find it as a flaw. It was just something that I didn't particularly like. But when you see the film and you understand why her design is different, you kind of let it slide to some degree. Because yet again, her story is also pretty interesting. Because you didn't really know what happened to her in Toy Story 3. All you got was, we all know what happened to Bo. And then that was it. And there was no mention of actually what happened. So it was nice to actually hear that side of things. But this film is also based on, where its main actual story is about Bonnie now starting to grow up. You know, she's no longer in the play school thing. I mean, it's kindergarten, you know. So the thing about this is that she's still not ready to give up her toys. She's still quite young. And this whole movie, it's not really a spoiler, it's not anything that's going to give anything away, but this whole story starts off with the fact that Bonnie is not ready to go without a toy, and her parents are like, well, you know, you're a big girl now and you can't really take a toy to school. And that's how this whole story starts. You know, it's how Forky gets involved. It should have been called Sporky. He should have been called Sporky. It makes so much more sense. But I will also say that Forky and Duke Kaboom are probably, and their plushies, are the three funniest characters in this whole damn film. Don't get me wrong, I love Tom Hanks as Woody, but you could do a spin-off film with Forky, Duke Kaboom, and these plushies, and I think we'd be highly entertained. Because they're incredible. They're absolutely incredible. So, that's our kind of mini review. The most that we can say is that without giving too much is just go and watch it. And we went in thinking we were going to hate it, and we were laughing a lot, to the point where, time to admit the embarrassment, we did cry. Okay, she only cried right at the ending. I cried for like the last 25 minutes of the film, non-stop. There is way too much more emotion in this one than there has been in Toy Story 1 or in Toy Story 3. The only Toy Story film that's made me cry as much is Toy Story 2, which we all know is because of Jessie's story. Jessie's story hits my heart every time. I cannot watch that film without bursting into tears during that moment. But, yeah, so this is where we're going to rate it now. We're going to rate Toy Story 4, whether we're going to give it out of its 5 out of 5 stars or whether it's going to be less. So, we'll try and, off camera, work out what we're going to rate it, and then we'll be back and then we'll tell you. What do you think it deserves out of 5 stars?
Probably 4 to 4.5.
What would you give it personally? Do you think it is a great follow-on to the Toy Story franchise, or do you think it wasn't as great as it could have been? Like, you got to be honest with that.
Probably about 4, because there could have been some improvements, or maybe like a kind of sort of maybe a bit more at the beginning of it, when they was first initially talking about Bo Peep.
True.
So probably, like, personally, it'd probably be about 4 out of 5.
Okay, so in the editing you'll see in the video above Alice there will be an A, and then there'll be 4 out of 5 stars for her. For me, I would agree, apart from one thing I didn't touch on in the film, about the film, but it wasn't really about the film, it's more about the style it was given. Something that was done differently to this film than there was back in 95 all the way up to this one with the Toy Story films, which is this film did have the most realistic animation when it came to the rain, when it came to the trees, and when it came to like little minor details and everything, whether it was electronics, whether it was flooring, whether it was dust and cobwebs. It was actually one of the better animated Toy Story movies, and which actually made it feel just a little bit more realistic, which is funny to say about an animated kids film about talking toys. But because of the 2 twists in this that also hit really hard, I think it would be unfair for me personally, as a massive Toy Story fan, to give it anything lower. I'd have to say than at least a 5 out of 5. I would have given it a 4.5 if it didn't hit me as hard as it did. Because not gonna lie, the ending will make you realize how crappy of an adult you are, like from childhood. And when it does that, when it can make you feel something emotionally like linked and triggered to the film, it deserves that extra point. So for me personally, it gets a 5 out of 5. So this is when I'm going to rank the Toy Story films. Now, I did want Alice to do this with me, but she's admitted to me that she doesn't remember any of the previous films.
I only remember Jesse's Story and Toy Story 4.
Okay, so she remembers Jesse's Story and Toy Story 4. So she can't personally rank this film out of the ones. Me, I'm very quick to my order, and I have my very specific reasons why my order is. So my order is Toy Story 2, which I have here. So, Toy Story 2, Toy Story 1, Toy Story 4, then Toy Story 3. Only because I said 3 to me is the worst, and I don't know why I hate it so much. I just felt really let down by it, apart from the last 15 minutes. But Toy Story 4 was definitely a great follow-on. Now, there's meant to be talks of a Toy Story 5 already. Now, I really hated the idea of there being a Toy Story 4. If they go the direction I think they're going to go with Toy Story 5, then I welcome it. Which is if they follow the one half of the story. Yeah, so if they follow that kind of story that we've just discussed, then I welcome it. Because it'd be a completely fresh take on the Toy Story story. If they follow it from the other half, I think we'll all be very disappointed and very underwhelmed by it, and I think that's when the franchise will just completely fall apart. I know a lot of people like every single Toy Story. I like the 2 mini stories, the Toys That Time Forgot, or the something like that, and then the other one's like the Land That Time Forgot. It could be that one. She could be right. I don't know. But there's that one, and then there's the Toys of Terror or something, or Tales of Terror. It's just you know what I mean. Them 2 spin-off mini Pixar movies. I enjoyed both of those. I thought they were both really entertaining. I did actually forget to mention there's actually one more character. He's only in it for like 2 seconds, but he made me giggle like a bitch. And I can't mention his name, but I'll just do one action and she'll know what I mean. Okay, I thought she'd know. That's embarrassing. Just a character that does this, and it just made me laugh. It's quite funny. I'll tell her after this video, and then she'll be giggling like a bitch too. So, yes. So you got our scores for the film. You got my ranking of it. All we do recommend is that you do go and see it, and hope you have as much fun with it as we did. But if you didn't, let us know why. Be interesting to know why you didn't like it. Yeah. And if you enjoyed Toy Story 3, then I'm disappointed in you. I'm joking. I'm joking. Everyone likes what they like, you know. You can't help it. But anyway, I want to thank Alice for joining me because she was really reluctant to do so. You know, I kind of feel bad. Like I kind of forced her to do this. So she's happy she did it now, but later she'll be like, oh, I don't like it. I don't like it. It took us ages to actually get this recorded. This was actually supposed to be a test recording, by the way. We've actually managed to do the whole video. We're supposed to be doing a test recording. We've just done the whole video. But all 3 of her channel links will be in the description below. She has her main channel where she talks about mental health, poetry and stuff like that. She also has her movie channel, which she has started to do videos again for. Very rarely, but when she does them, they're awesome. Really cool pickups, really cool unboxings, along with some collectibles, not just movies. I want to add that too. And then she's got her 3rd channel, which is I'd say is her 2nd most important channel, which is her gaming channel where she does the most incredible builds on Sims. So I do recommend you subscribe to her. Please check her out and go and leave us a support in the comments. You know, like I know a lot of you guys do, but anyone who's new and joining, just go and show her love. You know, and anyone shows her hate, you got me to deal with. So you know, don't do it. Right? Because I love you guys, but if you show hatred, I'm gonna hate you. Don't like hating anyone. Ask her. I like to like people, so don't disappoint me. I'm just told off the audience. You know, people are sitting there now at the keyboard going, well, f you. No. Right, anyway, that is the end of this video. If you enjoyed this video and previous videos, don't forget to strike like for future videos. If you're new to my channel, only see a couple of videos, click that subscribe button down below. I'd surely appreciate it. Anyway, that's it for now. We're going to say goodbye, and we'll catch you soon in another video together, hopefully. Depending on if she ever wants to join again.